Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm host Darren Campbell, and we're doing a Monday weekend wrap up. We had a long weekend. The August long weekend fell on August 1st this weekend, so we got a extra day off for work. Jason doesn't even probably know what day it is because he's been off forever, but we've got him joining us talking about the weekend in sports. And yeah, first of all, happy long weekend. How was it?
It was good. Like I only learned that there was a long weekend on yesterday. I didn't know. Been off work for so long. Somebody was mentioning that. Like it was a friend that was on the phone, and he's like, "Well, it's a long weekend." And I go, "What are you talking about? What long weekend?" And he's like, "Well, the one where we get the Monday off." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize." No idea. No idea.
Yeah,
But
that's what I thought. It usually happens that way when you haven't worked for a while. You kind of just yeah, just another day is another day.
exactly, another day is another day. But at the same time, I still had a good weekend. Like I was able to, hang out with a buddy of mine on Saturday and watch the fights, the UFC fights and stuff. So that was good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Well, I took advantage of the long weekend and headed up the Sea to Sky Highway. Went camping and went and enjoyed a ton of festivities all up and down the coast there. And man, we actually had just an awesome time. Gorgeous weather and so much to see, so much to do. Yeah, I could have probably stayed another week. We only had a little bit of challenges though. In BC these days, you have to book everything that you want to go to now. You have to have reservations months in advance, and it wasn't something we did. So we arrived places and nope, can't go there, can't go here, can't go there. And yeah, it's I think it's partly COVID and partly too many people living out here now. You got to be having reservations for everything you want to see.
Oh yeah. No, that definitely changed because of COVID for sure, right? And then I think that's unfortunately something that's here to stay. And also too, I think a lot of people have been turned off the fact of traveling, like especially if you're thinking of taking Air Canada. By the way, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's not a good idea. So, anyways, but and so that's making people have to do vacations here at home in the province somewhere. That means camping.
Yeah. Well, the biggest plan was to go to a place called Joffrey Lakes, which is just north of Pemberton. And we get about, I'd say, halfway, and we started looking at it a little more detail, and it said if you haven't got a camping pass or you don't have a day pass, you're not coming in. And I'm like, you're not coming in to like the lake? Like you're just not coming into the lake. I'm like, come on, there's no way. They can't just stop you from seeing a lake. Like, what the hell? You just walk in, walk out. Like I don't have to stay there, but they can't do that. Well, yeah, they can do that, I guess. So we get there and there's park rangers and they're turning people away in droves and droves. And I just said, no, we've driven this far. We're getting in. We're seeing this lake. So we had to do a boonie bashing through the woods, not through the actual entrance. We had to go through a bunch of not the greatest trails, and then made it there, got ourselves to the lake, took some nice pictures, had a nice chill out time for a bit. But man, I was like walking back thinking somebody's gonna stop us and they're gonna be like, do you have a pass? Are you allowed to be here? Nope. Okay, you're arrested. You're going to jail. You're sitting in jail. You're like, you look at the guy. What are you here for? He's like, murder. You're like, oh yeah, I wanted to see a lake, and they arrested me and took me away. Like, it's just ridiculous. One of the most stupidest things I've ever heard. That they just cut you off and say, no, you can't even come see this lake unless you have a pass already.
Well, so I guess they were doing that because they were assuming anybody that wanted to see the lake wanted to stay at the lake overnight, right?
No,
That
no,
was clearly their
no,
assumption.
that's not it. It
No?
actually is. It actually was 2.5 to 3 hours hike to just go to the campground.
Oh,
We were just we were just at the regular day lot that you go and see the lake, walk around the lake. But to get to the campground, it was 2.5, 3 hour hike. So it wasn't part of that at all. It was so weird. It was
okay.
very strange.
I would have assumed that. That's what I was assuming. I would
Yeah.
have thought that the campground was like necessarily close to the lake. So that's why you couldn't see the lake because the campground is right beside the lake.
No,
But
no.
now that I know that the campground was 3 kilometers, 3 clicks that away, I don't understand then. That I don't get.
Yeah, that was a shock. I just hadn't heard that. And the other thing was we wanted to see loggers days, Squamish loggers days. And we heard on the radio they kept promoting it on the Mountain FM, and it said you can get tickets online or you can get them at the door. So we checked online and we were having some troubles online, just syncing it up and getting the tickets. And so we're like, okay, well, it said at the door. Well, we got to the door and they looked at us and they were like, no, you don't look redneck enough. You're not coming in. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, you don't have tickets. No, you don't. No, that's it. Sorry. Turn back around and go back where you came from. And we couldn't even go there. It was like, no, I was actually pretty choked for that. I was like, you're kidding me, right? You're kidding me that you're not allowing us to buy a ticket and come into this.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Like that. First off, number one, you weren't allowed to buy a ticket, and then if you had no said ticket, because I would have assumed, like you assumed, yeah, just buy a ticket there and then go in. And it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
No, apparently it's not great. It's not great at all. Where's your ticket?
Yeah, so luckily we were able to shift. They had a music festival, small festival in the downtown core of Squamish. So we were able to go and see that really good cover band that was playing a lot of really great music, and they had vendors and things set up there. We ended up having a really great lunch, and yeah, it turned out really good in the end. But just the whole mindset. We had driven all the way down from Pemberton to Squamish to go check that out, and they said, you ain't getting in here, buddy. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, so I recommend if anybody's going to anything in the rest of the summer, look ahead, get some reservations, and you won't have to go going through some horrible trail in the woods, and you won't have to. I don't know. I was like contemplating, can I jump a fence here? Like, can I actually, And, well, man, it was just, it was very frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. I can imagine for you, since you're very much in tune with nature, and me, I know it will kill me one day, so I just stay away from it. That's what protects me. That's my thing, right? But
Yeah.
but I can understand that, well, at least now going forward, this, that you will need to buy tickets or purchase things before you even go close to said sites to see or anything else like that.
Yeah.
You need to do.
Learned a lesson, that's for sure. Yeah, learned a lesson. Had some really great news though. News that actually kind of shocked me. Just as we're about to leave the city, realized I was really low on gas, better fill up here before I take the trip up. Filled up reasonable price. I think it was lower than it had been during the weeks because there was a lot of people that had pulled in around that the chaos around the gas station trying to get a pump, get some gas. Drove up there. This is the first time I think in my life gas was cheaper in the lower mainland than it was somewhere else that I drove to. It was more expensive all the way up Squamish, Whistler, Pemberton, Every station on the Sea to Sky Highway, all the way through everywhere we went, was about 7 cents more expensive than what we bought in the Lower Mainland. And when I came back, it's still down cheaper than it was up there. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's unexpected because that's never the case.
Never.
Yeah, that's never the case. It's never the case.
I don't think it's ever been. I
Yeah.
think we always have the most expensive gas. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. That was a shock. I was happy, saved myself some money, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's so pricey there. Maybe it's just costing them so much to get the gas, and they have to charge more.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe it's like the transportation costs and then plus on top of that, there's the population density isn't there, so they're not the priority, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, could be. I guess last thing I wanted to mention before we get into talking about sports was we were talking about pets, and I was saying how I had some very some pets that just didn't seem to be able to keep their lunch down for the last little while, and I heard that actually there's quite a few pets that cannot puke. They cannot physically. They were unable to puke. And so I started looking at possibly swapping these pets, and maybe we can have a bunch of different pets that I don't have to worry about puking. They can just sit in the corner and do their thing. And yeah, no worries about having to clean up some throw up from the dog or a cat.
It's unfortunate that you're not actually able to do that because I think your girlfriend would have like something to say about that when you try to trade in her pets that she's had for all her life for new pets.
Right.
It's just a guess. She
Yeah.
might have.
Yeah, okay. True. Yeah, oh, shoot. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that part of it. Yeah. But I was quite surprised and happy that there are a bunch of animals that never can puke. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far I get with the swap, and I'll update you in the next coming weeks.
You know what's better? Future considerations. These are future draft picks for you in the future.
I love it.
It's like I already got this one guy signed. I just gotta wait for him to get to the draft or one of your pets die, and then we're gonna get him. We're gonna get this.
Yeah, I love it. Trades with future considerations. I always thought it was probably pretty lousy for the guy going the other way, but wondering what are they going to end up getting for me eventually. But I love trades with future considerations because it's kind of funny and wild that they don't have to tell you for a while. Like, that's what we decide a few months, years from now.
Yeah, just a couple years, and hopefully you get what you wanted. Hopefully, but it could be a dud. It could be that one breed where it's like, no, that's actually close to the breed you wanted, but you actually got this one. He pukes a lot.
Great. No kidding. Yeah, holy cow. Well, lots of great sports to talk about. Another great weekend. I talked about the dog days, cat days of summer the last couple of weeks, but things are spicing up. Lots of good fun things to talk about. But you texted me the sad news yesterday that the legend Bill Russell passed away this weekend. I hate starting podcasts off with tough news, but he lived to a really ripe old age of 88 years old. In those 88 years, few human beings have been able to accomplish as much. They kind of just broke the mold when they made this guy. You look at it, his accomplishments, the outpouring of support and accolades, and just incredible man. One of the greatest human beings to ever walk the face of the earth. And sad for his friends, sad for his family, but we're so blessed that he graced us with his presence, was able to come, get famous for being an incredible basketball player, but really, really just do so much more outside the court, off the court, all his social activism and the things that he did to further Black Lives Matter and all the causes that he's been involved in his whole life. What an incredible man.
What an incredible man. And And it's funny because of just how great of a basketball player he was. I look at that, but the thing I kind of remember Bill Russell even more for than the basketball accolades, which there are a ton of, is his civil rights activism.
Yeah.
You know, like him being literally a pioneer, him being there for, I want to say, I think it was this 1963 where Martin Luther King had the "I Had a Dream" speech.
Amazing.
That man was there. He
Incredible.
was there.
Wow.
Front row. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that. These are things that sometimes people forget. It's like, oh my goodness, he actually did that. He was literally the first black head coach in the NBA.
Yeah.
There's a couple firsts associated with this man's name, and then that's why he just has nothing but greatness. He lived for himself. He refused to be less than to anybody else, and he stood up for his convictions. He made all of us better. And at the end of the day, he made all of us better.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, his accomplishments on the court were just, legendary. Just to be able to join the Celtics in his 13-year career, the Celtics didn't make the final only one season. They made the finals 12 out of the 13 seasons that he was in the NBA. They lost one time in the final. 11 titles. He had 8 in a row, 11 rings, more rings than he has fingers. It's incredible. 5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 4-time rebounding champion. He lived in the era of Wilt Chamberlain too, who has, massive amounts of scoring records, but he just knew how to win. He just knew how to play as a team, great teammate, and be able to elevate the rest of his team around him to win and win and win again. Imagine just being a Boston fan when he joined that team and to be able to have the success they had. Just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Like the reason why they won all those was because of Bill Russell. You don't have Bill Russell, you don't have them championships, period.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to tell me otherwise. He's also the first NBA player to average 20 rebounds per game in the 57-58 season. First NBA player to have 50 rebounds in a game.
Wow.
I actually don't know how you can do that.
Wow. 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 50 in a game. Oh my God.
Yeah, 50 rebounds, my friend.
Absolutely amazing. Every time I saw his stats and the numbers and just what he was able to bring to them. Also to be able to be the coach and win 2 more titles at the end of his career. The last 2 years, he was the head coach. After Red Auerbach moved on, he was the head coach and the top player and was able to get the 2 more titles to make it 11.
Yeah, exactly. And as a head coach, he went 162 and 83. Oh, by the way, he was one of the first black coaches, I think, to be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Just as like he was the first black player to be inducted in the NBA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, again, when I say there's a lot of firsts behind this man's name, there is.
Yeah. I loved seeing the pictures with him and Muhammad Ali and him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and seeing him and Jim Brown, the 4 of them getting together with the social activism that they were doing. It's crazy that he had to face so much racism. I heard about the game where they went to Kentucky to play an exhibition game. They wouldn't allow him to eat with his teammates at a restaurant. And he said, you know what? If you're not allowing that, I'm not going to play in front of you. Forget this. And he just refused to take the court that night. An amazing move. A lot of his social activism was to the detriment of him in a lot of ways. So he sacrificed his popularity to further the cause, and that's very admirable, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, he did things for the right reasons, and that was one of them. And people had to realize, it's like, would you rather serve me so I could eat with my teammates, or would you rather me not play the game and lose?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We'd rather you just play the game. That was actually the answer. We'd
Yeah.
rather win the game.
Yeah.
We would rather that, you know? So I love the fact that he was able to leverage himself to make change. And he did it time and time again. I believe there was one newspaper about that certain incident that you're talking about. He said, I'd rather give up basketball than give up my rights.
Yeah. Good for him. Yeah. 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 You know, I love the moment that he got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Barack Obama putting that around his neck. I thought that was just a very historic moment in the US history. It was just phenomenal to see. I saw a video of him talking with Kobe Bryant, and he said to Kobe, you know, I kind of feel like I love you just as much as I would my own son. And you could just tell that it just hit Kobe in the heart, just immediately just grabbed his chest and patted his heart a couple times. You couldn't believe he was hearing such an amazing words and amazing tribute from a guy that everyone looked up to.
Yeah, of course. He was the godfather in a lot of ways. Like he paved the way. He paved the way so that, you know, when all of the other stuff just happened recently with George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff, that guy was there in the beginning.
Yeah.
He was there first, up front, and he's been there all the time. Maybe he's been still somewhat in the background in his later years, but he's still there.
Yeah.
Still giving it all he had, you know? So yeah, the man is amazing. I just want to share some words. These are words that were said by Jaylen Brown in honor of Bill Russell. Because of you, it's okay to be an activist and an athlete. Because of you, kids that look like you believe that they can win. Because of you, there is a standard for being a human being and being an athlete. Because of you, it's okay to be more than just a basketball player. And it's because of you, I'm proud to be a Celtic. Like that encapsulates what Bill Russell means to so many players and people in the NBA. Whatever you may do for the NBA.
Yeah, that's amazing words. I couldn't believe all the great words I saw from so many basketball players and so many other people around the world. It was outpouring of just absolute joy and just, you know, tributes to this man. I was so happy when the NBA decided to name the finals MVP trophy after him, and he would be on the stage presenting it to the winner every year. I thought that was so cool. I thought just, wow, how much of an honor that would be to you know, have it handed off from a guy that's won 11 of them, 5 MVPs himself, and that was incredible. And that 75th anniversary team, you and I talked at great length about it when they had the tribute during the All-Star game and All-Star weekend. I was so happy to see him there. You know, I had heard that you know, his health was a bit failing, but I didn't know it was you know, to the point where, you know, we were going to lose him this year. But yeah, those two moments stand out very, very, very front of mind for me. Just seeing him every year handing that trophy over, and then seeing him be, you know, one of the guys that was there right in the middle of that 75th anniversary team.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see that. I remember there was another clip there where it might have not been from the 75th, but I just remember there's this clip on Instagram where Magic Johnson's with Bill Russell, and he's talking about how great the man is. And then Bill Russell starts teasing Magic by saying, "Oh no, you got a lot of rings, but I think me and then Larry Bird's beside him, but I think me and Larry beat you." And like you know, like if it's a rivalry, I think we crushed you.
Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to that nature, and it was just it's fantastic to see how much respect he's garnered from all of the Hall of Famers, all of the great players that have ever graced the game of basketball. because like he's an icon. He's a social justice icon. He's an NBA icon. And I got to say, he's just he was a trailblazer. He paved the way for all of us, so that now that our voices, whether you be black, white, Asian, whatever, East Indian, our voices resonate now, and they resonate louder because of what he started.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well said. Yeah, he incredible man. And we're just so fortunate that he was able to get famous playing the game we love. You and I love hoops, and then just after his playing career, just all the incredible things that he did to further people's lives and help people. I hope that the Celtics do something to honor him. They already have retired his number. They have a statue in Boston already. Many things that they've done, but the statue isn't at the Garden, so maybe they can put a statue at the Garden as well. There is a statue downtown in the main square. I hope they put like an armband, maybe put number 6 somewhere on the jersey. I hope they do some tributes to him right at the beginning of the season, just to make sure they're honoring his family and his friends, and just reiterating how important he was to the Celtics and the NBA as a whole.
I'm sure they're going to be doing all of that. And I can't take credit for this thought, but I thought this would ultimately do him justice. This would do him what he absolutely deserves. It came from the columnist Bob Ryan. I believe I saw him on the Rich Eisen show, and he mentioned what should be a no-brainer, especially when he said it. I go, yeah, that is a no-brainer. The NBA should permanently retire his number 6 number so that no team anywhere could ever wear that number. They do exactly what they did for Jackie Robinson. Yeah, and that's exactly what they should, because that's how you honor that man. That's how you honor.
Yeah, they said he carried Jackie Robinson's body. He was a pallbearer, and they weren't friends. They hadn't spent a lot of time together, but Jackie Robinson's widow called him and asked him to be a pallbearer because she said that he was Jackie's favorite athlete, and he would be super honored to have him in that procession. So that was incredible too. And I mean, we could just go on and on and on for days upon days and weeks about this man. Thank you so much for letting me know yesterday. I was sort of, when you go camping, you're sort of tuned out. You're not really watching the world of sports much. I had watched the UFC. We up in Whistler. We had been there, but there was no mention until I guess I don't know exactly when it happened, but thanks for letting me know. And then I started watching everything that I possibly could to just see the tributes pouring.
Yeah, me too. I did. And I got notified off the Instagram. I think that's how I found out right away. And I was just like, oh man. And then, but once it did happen, I started watching like a lot of YouTube on him, and just remembering or learning new information that I had no idea that he did. And he was very much, he kept to himself. He was quiet about it. He wasn't over the top about all of his stuff that he was doing, because he didn't need to be that, because he was never that guy.
No, exactly. He wasn't. So I think we're going to start talking about the UFC. We actually have NFL this week. The first preseason game is this Thursday. Can you believe that? The Hall of Fame Classic this Thursday. That's insane. That sure crept up on me. Did it creep up on you?
Yes, it did. But I do want to share this with you. When training camp started, you know how some of the guys usually dress up for training camp?
Mm-hmm.
There was one man in particular that came in probably with the best costume that I've ever seen.
Okay.
And it was Aaron Rodgers. He was emulating a certain actor.
Right.
But I believe the name in the movie, he went by Cameron Poe, Con Air.
Right. I
Nicholas
saw that. That
Cage.
was so hilarious, wasn't it? Yeah.
So awesome. So
Amazing.
awesome. He nailed it too, my friend. Nailed it. I'm
Yeah,
looking
he
at him.
looked
You look good. I was like,
he
all
looked great going in
right.
there, didn't he? That was super funny. Yeah, he had slick back hair, white tank top, my shirt on. Yeah, that was awesome. That was hilarious. And yeah, it's good that he's got a sense of humor. You know, there's been a lot of criticism about him over the last few years, but he definitely yeah, started off training camp well.
And as he should. He just got paid.
Yeah.
I'd be happy too. I'm like, well, everything's good in my life. Real good. That's why I'm from Con Air right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So Thursday night, the Raiders are the home team. They're hosting the Jags. Hopefully the Jags are better than last year. I'm sure the Raiders will be better because Devontae Adams is there now, and they seem a lot healthier than they were last year. But Thursday night, first preseason game, and then we've got another week till the second set of preseason games. There's a couple on Thursday, a few Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. But the only other NFL note I wanted to mention right off the top was Deshaun Watson 6-game suspension today. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And Kyler Murray and Pete Carroll both tested positive for COVID today. So they are out for the next 5 days. The only thing to mention about that also is Pete Carroll's the oldest head coach in the NFL still, and that's a little concerning. COVID's not great for the elderly. I don't know if he's considered elderly. Would you call him that? He seems a lot younger than his age, but yeah, fingers crossed. Prayers to both guys that they recover real quick.
Yes, prayers that they both recover very quickly. I'm sure they will. I'm sure it's going to be great, and I'm sure Pete Carroll, Seahawks are going to make sure that they're going to take very good care of that guy.
Yeah,
very good care. Best of the.
Yeah, he'll get amazing care for sure. So, okay, well, why don't we turn to UFC 277? It was held in American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. We had 2 belts on the line, one interim belt and one women's bantamweight belt up for grabs again after the fight between Julianna Pena and Amanda Nunes last year. That was just one of the biggest upsets in UFC history when Julianna Pena ended up forcing Amanda Nunes to tap and wrestling the belt away from her. They had the rematch, and this one was completely the other way. Amanda Nunes showed us that she still is the greatest of all time and dominated this fight. And it was it was just back to how we've seen Amanda throughout most of her career, especially in those title fight victories she's had. It was really a one-sided fight, this one.
It was about this. Clearly Nunes had the advantage in the stand-up. Like it was pretty clear as day, because not only did she knock her down once in the first, 3 times in the second, wobbled her in the third, like it just like there was a pattern going on.
Yeah.
She definitely had the strength advantage.
Yeah.
But Pena had her moments in the fight. And also too, let's be honest here, Pena, she had the heart of a warrior.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Most women would not be able to last 5 rounds taking that amount of punishment.
Yeah.
Period. Not going to happen.
That's
but
true.
at the same time, Pena did give back. Nunes did not come out of that fight unscathed.
No.
Her face was beaten up. All right.
Yeah.
And then she did, and I want to say there was at one round where Pena did wobble Nunes for a brief second. Was that in the 4th or something like that?
Late. Yeah. It was late. Yeah.
But also too, in the 4th round, she had the one moment where she could have won, where she had the arm bar. It was tight.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
and it was close. But
Yeah.
Nunes managed to do the step over and managed to relieve the pressure. But it was close, man.
Yeah.
That was her moment to win that fight, and it just slipped through her fingers. She was really close to winning it right there.
Yeah, well, she was starting to realize that was probably her only and best option, and she was going for that armbar on a bunch of occasions,
Yes.
but Nunes yeah, defended it well. I was amazed. I haven't seen Amanda Nunes fight southpaw. She changed her stance. I don't know if she was able to keep that quiet from the Pena camp. But that was a complete change, and I hadn't seen her fight that way before. Also, the takedowns. Once she, was dominating on the feet, and she has dominated most of the women that she's ever fought on the feet by far. You thought, okay, well, she's going to keep this up. And then she started taking her down and dominating her down on the ground too. So, great game plan. I was wondering what we would see after she's left American Top Team, started her own camp, has her own gym now, doesn't have those same coaches telling her the strengths and her weaknesses and the things that will best suit her to win. I kind of wondered what type of Amanda we'd see, but impressive from round 1 to round 5, and a very, very championship like performance, and just, yeah, it will probably fade that memory of her from last fight in my mind, and I wasn't sure it ever would, because I was really upset and I didn't see a champion fight that last time, but this time she deserves to be a champion.
Oh yeah, no, she fought like a champion. She dominated like a champion. She showed us the Amanda Nunes from before. I guess that one fight was quote unquote the anomaly.
Yeah.
Let's call it the anomaly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And she did say that there was a bunch of problems with that previous fight camp that were clearly ironed out for this fight camp, because she looked fantastic.
She sure did, yeah. As you said, Julianna Pena, tough. One of the toughest women walking the face of the earth. 99.9% of people in that fight, women in that fight, would have been done many times in that fight. She ended up having to go and have some surgery over the weekend, some plastic surgery to repair some of the damage to her face. Dana White, not so eloquently, said she had chunks of her face missing that she had to get reattached, or I don't know what they're going to do to it, but yeah, she had to undergo surgery. It's going to be, I think it's going to take a while to recover, so I don't know if there's an immediate trilogy fight. I'm not sure about this. We'll see, but automatically some talk right away of Valentina Shevchenko being an opponent now of Nunes. Nunes has 2 belts again, and I don't know what the future holds, but what are your thoughts?
Well, maybe she'll actually get an opponent for that other belt that she never has to fight anybody for. Maybe they'll just throw that in there just to keep her busy. That's all I can think of, because literally, like, there's nobody else that's gonna threaten her in her division. There's nobody. Like,
crazy.
She's cleaned it out. So
cleaned him up.
I don't know. You know what? What she should do is go away with her family, go on a vacation, figure it out in a couple of months. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's no real need or hurry for her to rush back, because who's gonna fight?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we shift to the co-main event? A great battle between 2 very incredible fighters. Love both these guys. They both brought an incredible work ethic to this fight. Love the story about both their lives, and to get into this battle. And this was a hell of a great fight. Really, really evenly matched until Brandon Moreno landed a shot that Kai was not able to take, and dropped him down, ground and pound, and finished him off. Brandon Moreno, the champion again. Looks like Davison Figueiredo for another time. They had him even come into the cage and have some conversation, but What'd you think of this fight? It was great while it lasted, that's for sure.
Fantastic fight by two fantastic competitors. Kai Kara France, you could tell from the jump of that particular fight, really wanted to win that fight.
Yeah.
The guy was super motivated, super focused. He was mean mugging pretty much the entire time in that fight. He really wanted it,
Yeah.
and he fought like it. They both fought like it, man. But like you said in the third, when Moreno landed that running roundhouse kick to the liver, I was like, I saw that kick and I was like, ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to be able to take that. And then you saw kind of delayed reaction. Then he crumpled, and I'm like, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Because you know when you get hit with something like that, it just shuts you down, shuts off your body, and there's nothing you can do about it. It was a perfect.
That liver shot. We've seen it too many times, and it's funny because it is a delayed reaction that lands. The guy winces for a second, and then he goes to try to fight, and then his body just goes crumple, shuts it down. What I've heard is that the liver's here, it gets hit, all the toxins get shot out of it, and then all of a sudden the body goes, uh-oh, something's seriously wrong here. Time to shut down. We got to help you out. And boom, you're on the ground. You take a few unnecessary shots. Still the ref can jump in and pull you off, but it's tough, man. That delay is kind of funny, but we've seen it dozens, if not hundreds of times over the years watching fights.
Yeah, man. And if the way that Moreno buried his shin into that liver, oof. Yeah, man. It was a perfect shot, and Kai Kara France, as game as he was not going to get up.
No. Yeah, you saw Israel Adesanya and Alexander Volkanovski there cheering on their teammate, and they were both really excited. Kai Kara, man, he's a tough kid, and he was bringing it, and there was moments for sure that you could see him winning this fight, but Brandon Moreno is a champion again, got the interim belt, and we'll see. A lot of people have been saying that they don't see Deiveson Figueiredo ever making this weight again. We saw that Charles Oliveira was stripped of his championship because he couldn't make weight. I don't know, they probably will still schedule this fight, but I guess at some point we're going to find out if he can make this weight. But a lot of people think he's done with this weight class. He will not be able to make this weight. He's had such hard time the last 3-4 fights, but yeah, we will see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make the weight. But I'm super happy that Brandon Moreno once again has earned a shot at Deiveson, because as far as I'm concerned, he's he's a worthy rival to Deiveson.
Yeah, I think they're so evenly matched. It's incredible, and they put on epic fights already, and I would love to see them again. I would pay to watch that again.
Of course, and so I'm hoping that they do that sooner than later, and hopefully Deiveson should start figuring out his diet now, because he knows that fight is coming up.
Better figure it out, exactly. Yeah. Okay, let's go down through the card a little bit. The Sergey Pavlovich, Derek the Black Beast Lewis, really disappointed end to this one. I thought it was stopped way too soon. I would have given the Beast much more of an opportunity to continue with this one. I think it was just unfortunate that he was down, getting up, but while he was down for a momentary beat, I would say, boom, the fight was over. I wanted to see way more of this.
Me too. I usually will err on the side of the ref, but for this particular fight, I thought it was a little quick. Like, I thought it was way too quick, to be honest with you. Yeah, he got rocked. Yeah, he's a heavyweight, though. Everybody gets rocked at heavyweight. And so, and Pavlovich was putting it on him. I thought that the ref could have given him a little bit more time to see what he could. That's it. But great win by Pavlovich.
Pavlovich came in ranked number 11 and Lewis number 5. I don't think Pavlovich deserves to suddenly jump up to number 5. I don't think Lewis deserves to drop that far down, but we'll see how the rankings shake out tomorrow and see what happens here. I'm not sure what's next for both of them. You know, you can't really say Lewis took too much damage, really. You know, he got rocked for sure, but yeah, as you say, heavyweight fights, almost all of the guys get rocked at some point. So, but Pavlovich, 15-1, you know, on a 9-fight winning streak and really moving up the ranks. You know, deserves a top 10 opponent for sure again, and we'll see what's next for them. We talked about the Moreno Kaikara France fight. That was fight of the night. They both got 50K bonus for that. The other 50K bonuses went out, and the one that collected it on the main card was Alexander Pantoja for the amazing submission win over Alex Perez, who's tough as nails. Pantoja got 50K and got the really slick submission win, just a minute and a half in.
He went at him like a house on fire, or like he was on fire. It was almost like, I'm going to be late for my meeting, so I got to get this over with like right now. He came on with like a ton of aggression. I was kind of surprised by just how aggressive he came out. Put it on Perez immediately, managed to get him to the ground, get his back, sink in the neck crank, and that thing was nasty. When he sunk in that neck crank, I was like, he might not tap, but he should.
Yeah.
It looked like he's going to snap his neck off.
There's no way I was tapping from that, but you know, hey, Perez, you know, I'm not calling you a pussy, but you know, hey, come on. You know, I'm only tapping if it's under my neck, not on the side of my face. Yeah, my face is hurting now, but come on, like, come on.
You know what? Here's the great thing. I know what Perez would answer to that. You go, I'll get Pantoja. He's just going to do the neck crank. And hey, if you don't tap, that's good for you.
Yeah, that would. I'd be like crying over in the corner. I'd be like, oh yeah, I guess I would have tapped. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm sure it was painful and brutal, and but yeah, you are right, Pantoja. I was surprised at how much of a favorite he was, because Perez is tough and has had a lot of really amazing battles, but Pantoja just came out and said, yeah, I'm not messing around here. I am attacking this guy. He just was swinging. The combination was like 10, 12, 13, 15 punches just coming until he had the chance to trip him and take him down, and then take him down and you know, go for submission. Amazing performance by Pantoja, and yeah, number 4 against number 6, but yeah, you know, look out. He could be knocking on the door for a title shot anytime now. So we'll see. Speaking of number 4 and number 6, the other fight we had to kick off the main card was number 4 against number 5. A great battle in the light heavyweight division between Anthony Lionheart Smith, who's one of the most experienced fighters in the UFC, has had amazing amount of time in the cage and the octagon, against a guy that's on another meteoric rise, Dagestani Magomed Ankalaev, 18-1 now, got the big KO win after Anthony Smith said he broke his leg on the last kick he threw in the first round. He was definitely compromised on that leg in the second round. Once he hit the canvas, Ankalaev took that advantage and just grounded pounded him until the fight was stopped. But yeah, he unfortunately, Anthony Smith did suffer some type of injury. I've been told it wasn't a broken leg. The x-ray came back negative, but something was really definitely wrong with that leg.
Yeah, he was most certainly compromised. Sorry about that. He did. Yeah, sorry about that. He did say that after the first round was done, that something was definitely not right with said leg. And they both did great in the first round. I thought it was very close after that first round, but once he came out in the second, you could see the immediacy of what he was trying to do, because I think he knew in his head, I only got a certain amount of time to work before this becomes untenable and I can't fight anymore.
Yeah.
And so with that, you know, like Lionheart is Lionheart. Not many other fighters would just be able to just go, I don't know what's going on with my leg, but I still got to fight. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that's otherworldly toughness.
So
But once Ankalaev got him down on the ground, I don't think he could even muster the strength to explode up anyways.
no.
So yeah, once he got his back with the ground and pound, it was over. So.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately. We've seen that the main event 2 weeks previous, and another injury suffered, and an early ending to a fight that I was super excited for. Both guys tough as nails, and I was disappointed that an injury happened there, but it happens. It's fighting. It happens all the time. So Ankalaev, look out. He's on a rise. I could see that guy holding a belt one day.
I can too. He's good everywhere. He's good everywhere. Like he really doesn't have any weaknesses in his game, which is what you need if you want to be the champion at some point in time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, why don't we switch to the prelims, talk about some of the scraps there. The featured prelim was Alex the Great White Moreno against Matthew Semi the Jedi Semmelsberger. Alex Moreno, when he walks out, you think, this guy doesn't look tough. This guy doesn't look mean. This guy doesn't really look intimidating at all. And then you watch him fight, and it is awesome to see. He is so talented. He is so good at fighting, movement, accuracy. He is just one put together fighter, and he really, really beat up Semmelsberger, who's tough. Great fight. But Moreno, he just doesn't look the part at how good he actually really is.
Yeah, he just looks like your friendly neighborhood accountant. Like that's what Alex Moreno looks like to me. But you're in this fight though. What really stood out to me was his footwork.
Yeah,
and like there's just the happy feet, in and out, attack, not get hit. And it didn't allow Semmelsberger time to load up on any punches because he was constantly moving. So he's always trying to have to hit a moving target. And so also too, that tells me that Moreno's his endurance and like his stamina was at peak levels.
Yeah.
Super high. Like his cardio was in fantastic shape. For you to fight like that, your cardio has to be like that if you're constantly moving like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know who gave him the nickname the Great White, but Great Whites are always famous for always moving, never stopping. They're just, their whole life they're moving through the water looking for prey. And man, the movement, just the accuracy, and he doesn't move crazy. He just moves just out of the way. He just has that footwork that he knows the punch is coming, and it's just going to slide by. Just going to come by. He's going to move backwards, so it's going to come short. Just the movement. I don't know if it's ingrained in him or he has his coaches teaching him that, but absolutely amazing. Great to see a guy in his home state get a huge win like that too. And I was a little worried when Semmelsberger eye started closing so soon. They had to go in the third round, bring the doctor in and see if he could actually even see anything out of that eye. I'm glad he said he could. I think Joe Rogan and DC were both like, I think he might have just lied. He might have just called out one finger, but luckily he was still game and he wanted to fight. And this was to me, this was fight of the night. I loved the action in this one throughout the whole 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was great action. And on top of that, Semmelsberger came back with a fury in the third. Hit Moreno with a flying knee, dropped him.
Yeah, that was awesome. There's a great shot of DC jumping up and oh my God, I can't believe this. Because he realized once the doctor came in and looked at that eye, he was like, I better do something real spectacular real quick. And he landed that flying knee, had Moreno in trouble there for a few seconds, but wasn't able to take him out. He won that round in my opinion, but wasn't able to.
Yeah, I wasn't able to capitalize, unfortunately, and he was already down by the 2 rounds already. So he really needed to take him out and have a finish in the third, but unfortunately he fell short. But Moreno did win. It was a very impressive win. Very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, it was really incredible. Moreno was outstriking him 2-1 throughout the entire fight until that last round. But yeah, Semmelsberger, I just have notes here, just warrior, 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 warrior. I just wrote it down so many times as I was showing it. I would say that's a broken orbital bone. No doubt for Semmelsberger, so could be a bit of a lengthy recovery. That's always a tough one to endure, especially when it happens early and you get more and more and more shots to it. Because once that bone breaks, now you're breaking it every time you're getting shots to it. And Moreno wasn't holding up on those shots. He was landing a lot of shots to that eye.
Yeah. He was taking advantage of his opponent being compromised.
Yeah.
And then that's what you're supposed to do. It's like, oh, I smell a little bit of blood in the water. I'm just going to keep hitting that injury. I'm just going to keep hitting it. Gonna stop
Yeah. There's no holding back for most of these guys once they see that. It's like a shark, seeing blood in the water. So there it was. There it was. Okay, I mentioned the 50K on the main card. The other 50K for performance bonus was given to Drew Dober in this incredible lightweight battle with Javier Alves. This was another really, really, really great fight. Super fun fight until Dober landed that body shot that shut down Alves. Another one of those. It wasn't quite a liver shot. Somehow it would hit him in the rib, I guess, and just took him down. But it was another one of those delayed reactions to the floor, and fight was over.
Yeah, and I think one of the analysts said I think he might have hit one of his floating ribs, and that can have the same effect as hitting like your liver, kidney shot, like where it just shuts you down, and that's obviously what happened to Alves. But I wanted to say that Dober's conditioning is second to none because as the fight went on, he got stronger, Alves got weaker because his cardio was just not up to the challenge because you could tell his volume was definitely declining when they hit the second round.
Yeah.
Most certainly was declining. And unfortunately, Dober had an eye poke against Alves. He was able to recover somewhat. And so, because then after the restart, then they started chucking haymakers at each other again. Right. So,
Jesus,
yeah.
That was crazy. He took a shot that I couldn't believe he was able to withstand it and just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Like those guys, like Dober, especially with that chin that he has. Hey, that guy's got a mythical chin. Yeah. He really does. That man can take a shot.
I got a great picture of him and I at the Boston Pizza right outside the arena there, outside of BC Place there. They had a meet and greet and got some pictures of me and him and me and Uriah Faber. I actually, I'm quite a bit taller than Faber and Dober. I was like, I feel a bit like a giant here. This is kind of cool. There was a guy standing in front of me in the lineup, and he saw Uriah Faber and recognized him, knew him right away. And then he turns to me and goes, Drew Dober, should I know this guy? And I'm like, you should. Yeah, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. Watch this guy. And 9 years in, he's starting to enter his 10th year in the UFC, and I think a lot of people don't think of him as upper echelon guy, and I don't know why, because he's an amazing talent.
Oh, he's amazing talent. He's an amazing fighter, and he just has toughness. Like when you're in a fight with Drew Dober, you know it's like it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be a tough fight. Yeah. He's a tough fight all the time.
Yeah, all the time. They had some stats. He's now tied for second most knockouts in UFC lightweight history. Dustin Poirier leads the way with 8. He's now tied with Edson Barboza and Melvin Gillard with 7 each. And yeah, I mean, started to enter some very elite company there. And one of his cornermen was kept yelling, left body shot, left body shot, left body shot. And after the fight, he pointed out, Terrence Crawford, he called it. I heard him. I threw it. It landed. We ended it. And it was nice to be able to give that shout out to his cornerman.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. That was awesome that happened. And then also too, very cool to see that Terrence Crawford was in the crowd, but he was sitting beside somebody else. Was it Mike Tyson?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Like that was so. I was impressed by that because I've seen Mike Tyson there before at the UFC, but I can't remember ever seeing Terrence Crawford there before.
No,
That's neat.
that was
And,
neat.
like, you can argue that he's pound for pound best boxer in the world. So I thought that was actually super cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't know why in Dallas those guys were there, but yeah, they got the money. I guess just jump on a flight and head there. But yeah, that was really cool. I love seeing both those guys. Always, soon as you see Tyson, you're just like, ah, wow, holy cow, this is great. But Terrence Crawford there too, and to be able to call out the shot, Dober hearing it, landing it, ending it, it was neat. Really quite the moment for me. Bruce Buffer had a tiny little bit of a night off. He called the wrong referee on at least 2 fights, I think maybe even 3. He called the wrong name of the referee. And Dan Miragliotta, when he stepped into the cage near the end, he looked over at Buffer to make sure he was going to call his name for real, because he called Dan Miragliotta, and it was Mike Beltran was in the cage, and everyone looked at each other like, what's going on here? And then when he called Dan and he got it right, then he looked over and I'm like, hey, you finally got it right there. Never seen him make mistakes like that. Somebody must have handed him the wrong thing, or maybe somehow the order got mixed up for the refs, but it was weird.
You know what? It's classic Anchorman stuff, where he's just reading off the teleprompter and he's just like, oh, what? I probably should have looked at the guy.
Yeah, should have taken a stock back. Yeah, because we all know what they look like. He knows them all, but it was quite the funny moment for me.
Yeah. I think you might change things. You might tweak things a little bit for next time, so he doesn't make the same mistake. You might actually lock eyes with the ref and be like, okay, make sure I know who I'm calling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was amazing. Let's talk about this heavyweight battle. Don'Tale Mayes against Hamdi Abdel Wahab. UFC debut for the Egyptian Hamdi. Love this guy. He was in the Olympics in 2016 for Egypt in Greco-Roman wrestling. Decided not too long ago, stepped in 5-0 not too long ago to get into MMA. Stepped into this cage at 5-0, but man, I was cheering for this kid. I wouldn't say kid, but cheering for this guy. And he came in, and what a debut. I was very, very, very impressed. He got rocked, a few times and was in trouble at times through the fight, but this guy is tough as nails, and I loved this fight, and good for him. The first and only Egyptian ever to fight in the UFC. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, he looked great. He looked fantastic, and also too, his stand up was good because he hurt Mays in the first.
Yeah,
and almost like had him out of there.
Out of
like,
trouble
like,
big time.
Oh yeah, in trouble big time. I'm like, oh, this could be a quick fight, but unfortunately, the fight stalled. Mays managed to get his wind back and his senses back, and the fight continued. But I was impressed after that first round of watching him fight. Like, as I was just like, wow, okay, so this guy's got something. And then the fight was just fantastic after that. It was awesome. Yeah. But where Abdelweb obviously won the fight was off his superior, slick wrestling.
Yeah.
His wrestling was that's what turned the tide of the fight. And he's good.
Yeah.
Very good wrestler.
I have a feeling he could go far. He looks great. His wrestling is, obviously Olympic class, and being able to also have great stand-up. Mays made a mistake there. He went for a takedown, ended up on his back, and definitely, got compromised in that round when he was on his back. But for Hamdi to only have 12 days to prepare for his UFC debut, and come in. You know, big guy, but he looked slick on his feet and was able, you know, he definitely got a bit tired as the fight went on, but yeah, amazing performance. And I love seeing guys come in, first guy ever for the country. And I think, imagine the pressure on a guy. He wants to show that MMA is good in their country, and he wants to help, you know, bring the sport into the mainstream, try to get a lot more young guys into it. The pressure has got to be immense for these guys, but great to see him get that win. And maybe we'll see in the next 3 to 5 years a few Egyptians coming along. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like, but great to see a guy as a pioneer trailblazer like that.
Yeah, well, somebody's always got to be the first to open that door. And for Mr. Abdelweb, he's the first.
Yeah.
And he should be proud of that. And he should be proud of the fact that he represented his country well, won the fight. And hopefully he can continue successfully on his career as time goes on. And I believe he will, and especially with that wrestling. That wrestling is no joke.
No joke. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. And the fight that kicked off the prelims was Drakkar Klose and Rafa Garcia. Klose gets the decision there, and he calls out Tony Ferguson as his next opponent. We'll see where that goes, but this was two super tough guys going at it. I think Drakkar said it was the toughest guy he's ever fought, and it was a razor thin fight for me. I think it was the right decision, but I enjoyed it. Really good fight to kick off the card on the prelim.
Oh, great fight. Great fight. As Drakkar said, I always think of Drakkar Noir. I have no idea whenever I this guy's name. But anyways, as Drakkar said, the fight was super close. Garcia was plenty game, but I thought the difference for Klose to get this fight and win the fight was that he kept being in Garcia's face. Constant pressure. Beginning of the first to the end of the third. He was there constantly on him. And I think that's the pressure was what got him the win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, his pressure is just second to none, and yeah, just kept backing him up and landed a few takedowns, and yeah, it was great. A really good fight for both guys, but Drakkar was a little bit better on the night, and I was impressed. Lots of early prelims. Did not see them myself. Anything that you saw that you'd like to mention?
I did not see them as well. I thought I was gonna get there to my buddy's place earlier to see some of the prelims, but unfortunately he couldn't get them on his TV. So I missed.
Yeah, the early prelims were just being shown on Fight Pass. They weren't being shown anywhere but that. So we didn't get a chance to see them as well. But yeah, still four fights on that early prelims. Looks like some good performances, but nothing to comment on. Why don't we shift to next week? We've got a really great main event in the light heavyweight division between Thiago Santos and Jamal Hill. Santos, we always, think of him with that huge hammer on his chest. One of the toughest guys in the world. Fighting prospect, up and comer, 10-1 Jamal Hill coming in. What do you think we're going to see in this one?
Well, physically, if you look at these two fighters, you'd be like, I picked the guy with the sledgehammer on his chest. That's it. Picking the guy with the sledgehammer on his chest. But Jamal Hill is slick, and like you said, he's an up and comer. He's only lost one fight, and he's got all the talent in the world. Stylistically, this is the most interesting fight I can remember in a long time.
Yeah.
I
so opposite. The guys are so opposite, aren't they? It's crazy. Yeah.
So opposite in the way that they approach the game, so opposite in the way that they strike and throw strikes.
Yeah.
I naturally want to go with Santos, but Hill could pull it off too. Like I don't. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this one ends because I really don't know. Because Hill, as far as I'm concerned, he's a wild card in this fight. wild card.
Very, very much so. Co-main has Vicente Luque against Jeff Neal. Luque, love watching him fight. Yeah, I think he's the better one in this one, but yeah, I think it should be still a great battle.
This will be a great battle. Possibly could be fight of the night. I'm kind of with you on that with Vicente, but Jeff Neal is he's an upper echelon fighter. It's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a great fight. I think that fight definitely goes to decision.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. Prelims, we got T-Rex, Terrence McKinney against fighting Eric Gonzalez. I think that has the chance to be the fight of the night. Sam Alvey back. Really surprised. I thought he was finished in the UFC. He's had a really bad stretch in the last little while. They're giving him this fight. If he loses, I don't see him having a career anymore in the UFC, but maybe they're giving him one last opportunity to get a win and continue his career.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think they're giving him one more kick at the can, so to speak. And however it ends, it definitely ends in a loss, and he's done. But even if he wins, he still might be done. We'll see. He might retire.
That's true. Yeah, maybe this is his retirement fight. We'll hear as the week progresses on and find out. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, as always, this doesn't have the same cachet as last week with the two title fights on the line. But as always, watch these fight nights. You'll be impressed. There'll be guys jumping out. There'll be young guys that are super hungry. And yeah, we'll see some amazing battles, and can't wait. Okay, let's just change gears a little bit. And as I said, the NFL is preseason starts this week on Thursday. But the biggest news today was the 6-game suspension for Deshaun Watson. Mixed emotions from lots of areas on the length of the suspension. The NFL has got it wrong in many cases. They decided to give it to an independent person to do an investigation and hand down a suspension if they thought it was just. So that's what's happened in this case. I don't know why 6 games. I find it a little light, but he did miss the entirety of last season. It was not a suspension, but basically he wasn't playing because of all this stuff that went on. So when you look at it that way, it's a 1 year and a third about of the season. What were your thoughts when you heard 6-game suspension for Deshaun?
First question, though, I don't know if you know this answer, but he was, even though he didn't play last year, he was still getting paid, right?
Yeah,
because
he got paid his full money.
Yeah. So because it wasn't technically, so he was on vacation. So, anyways, but so it's a third of the season, and he already, I guess you could say, somewhat was punished from last year because he couldn't take the field, but he still got paid. So if I look at it like that, if I look at it like with the fact that he was still getting paid, regardless because
true.
The field, right?
That's not really punishment when you get paid, don't have to go to work. It's a lot of people would think, hey, I'll sign up for that any day.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I thought the harshest the suspension could have been was he misses the entire season, and obviously the Browns were hopefully that didn't happen. But I personally think I thought it was going to be half.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been half the season. Sure. And I thought that would have been good. It would have provided justice for what happened to those women. Obviously not. That's why I believe there's still 4 ongoing against him. He settled 20, and I think there's still 4 left.
They just settled 3 of the 4. So
still 1.
Yeah, so 1 outstanding that has not been settled, but out of the civil lawsuits, all but 1. So I think it's 23 out of 24.
Okay, and also too, I don't think it got past like the adjudicators like past their knowledge was that he had to deal with 24 counts.
Yeah.
24 with like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it was actually 66 that had incidences with him. I've never tried out 66 different chiropractors or deep tissue massage people. I don't know. I've never done that before.
Yeah.
I guess you can speak to that, but that's pretty cool.
Pretty
But
very strange.
yeah, like it obviously something bad happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's why you're settling it out of court.
Yeah.
So something had to happen. He had to be disciplined and punished somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I thought it should have been half to a year. He got a third, so they did something. And also, too, there's another reason why he got that monster contract, so he could pay off these women.
Yeah.
Now, like
Yeah.
the Browns actually were complicitly helping him to solve his little problem there. Even with that, I look at that and I go, that's kind of a problem too.
Yeah. No, I was shocked when Cleveland gave him 230 million guaranteed. I thought 230 million is probably, in the ballpark for an NFL quarterback. But guaranteed when he's going through all this stuff. Yeah, it was shocking that they even went there. This has been an absolute joke of a franchise for pretty much my entire life. It's never really been some franchise that you can look at and go, oh wow, yeah, that's the way to do it. So they put another black mark, I think, on their franchise by bringing them in the first place. This to me was just handled really poorly. Has been handled poorly right from the start. When that many women step up and say he was, it was absolutely wrong what he did. I think there's got to be more severe punishment. As you said, it didn't seem like a punishment last year. Got his full salary, just didn't play. He had already asked Houston for a trade out of there before this came to light. He didn't want to play for that organization anymore. But they still had to honor that salary, even though he had been doing this obviously over a few years. The other thing that I really wish would have been handed down would have been force him to do some counseling. He needs some serious mental help. If he has this problem, is it going to go away? What he hasn't shown any remorse. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't said, maybe I didn't understand that, it should go this way. There are massages that do things that, legitimate masseuses will never do. And, I don't know where the line got blurred there in his brain, but he obviously needs some mental help, and that should be mandated. I think the NFL should step up and say, you have to do some serious things before you're allowed to touch the field again. So this doesn't happen again. And these women, all the things that they went through, I don't know. It's just shocking that that isn't part of this.
Yeah. But at the same time, we don't know exactly how his contract is structured with the Browns. Maybe the Browns could have put something in there, some language in there saying you clearly need some help, so we're going to make sure that's in the contract so that you do get your help.
I hope so.
And it could be. Yeah. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that it could be. There's a lot of things that we just don't know. Yeah. But I would like to think that hopefully the young man just gets help for himself because he understands that there's a problem there. He doesn't have to say it out loud in the public, but hopefully friends, family, others, parents say, yeah, you're going to have to fix that.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, hope so. There was a lot of controversy over the past couple of weeks about the writing in the contract of Kyler Murray saying that he needed to make sure that he was watching film and not being distracted by video games, by television, by eating, by talking, by I don't know. It was just that was pretty funny that came to light in his contract that he had to have mandatory film sessions for the week, and they were going to check in on that and make sure he was doing it.
Yeah, I know. I think that's kind of funny because I'm like, what is he in elementary school? Got to do your homework, son. All right. You
No.
don't do your homework, I'm telling you, you're going to get in trouble. Like, what are you talking about? He's a
Yeah.
grown man. Like
Yeah.
also too, he's an NFL quarterback that's pretty good. I'm pretty sure he's got to watch some sort of film, right?
Yeah.
Like what they're trying to tell me is that no, he doesn't do anything. It's
Yeah.
all pure talent.
Well, that's that's the thing. Like that's the crazy thing that yeah, you know, they possibly had some issues with it for even somebody to have that thought of, oh, we better put this in the contract because you know he's not doing the film work like we want him to, we expect him to do. So, you know, he's been able to have the success he's had from not doing it, but yeah, that was weird to get the details of that and to know that, yeah, they said, we will not honor this contract unless you watch film. Do your
Yeah.
homework, do your homework. It was bizarre.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre, but hopefully then now he knows if that's clearly a weakness because of clearly the team, the organization he plays for believes it's a weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, now you got to address it then. And now that it's out there in the public, now that we all know that you don't watch film,
Yeah.
clearly don't, because it's in your contract, he's going to have to change that about himself. So, and hopefully if he does, we'll see the results on the field because like there were two maniacs that were, one's still playing, one's retired, that were crazy about film. They watch film all the time. One's the greatest quarterback ever, Tom Brady, and the other guy was actually pretty good himself, Peyton Manning. So if you look at those two and you say, well, if you watch a lot of film, you could be like them. That's not bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. I'm amazed at so many of the athletes that they don't they don't just follow the footsteps of these guys and act like how, you know, these quarterbacks, you know, these guys that have had massive success in there, they don't, you know, conduct their lives, you know, pretty much the same so they can have that kind of success. And, you know, they're going to get the riches and the fame if they win championships. You mentioned Tom Brady's 7. We talked about Bill Russell at length, 11. You know, imagine conducting your life, you know, examples are there. They're there. Why don't you try to be like these guys? It's crazy that they don't.
Yeah. Although I think Tom Brady would be like, I can tell you a bunch of stuff of what I do, but you'll never be me. Sorry about that. It's just the way it is. And then you know what? You hear the voice from above. That would be God saying, "He's right. You'll never be like him."
Second coming of Jesus, eh? Kind of, yeah. This is his son. We never actually knew. At some point, we might get the reveal that this is actually his son.
Yeah, and then you know what I'd say? I knew it. I knew it. Every time I put down a bet, always losing my money. Always.
The golden child. Yeah, he's broken a lot of our hearts over the years, that's for sure.
Yes, he has.
The only other thing I want to mention about the weekend in sports, we saw an amazing F1 race. Your cousin had some really great stuff over the weekend. I was able to watch a little bit of it today. He had this really great 3-person chat last week, and one of the guys said, "Do you know what the definition of insanity is?" And they kind of nodded, both of them, and were like, yeah, we've heard that before. And then he said it again, "You know what the definition of insanity is?" And your cousin's like, you know, just starting to say, yeah, it's doing the same thing over and over without or expecting different results. He was about to say the thing, and he just said about 2 or 3 words, and the guy said Ferrari. And this was shown again this weekend. Ferrari made the massive mistake of choosing some terrible hard tires. They took their guy out of first place. He ended up all the way down in 6th. Max Verstappen went from 10th place to win the race and take a massive absolute stranglehold on the F1 Series championship, 80 points ahead. And they're going into their summer break. They get the whole entire month of August off, and then resume the season in September. But that resonated in my head all week. And then to see Ferrari make a massive mistake and mess up their top driver, Charles Leclerc, and hand the trophy for this race to Max Verstappen and probably the championship too. It was crazy. And but yeah, your cousin was on it. His guest was on it too. And I don't know how Ferrari has made so many mistakes this year, but Red Bull's happy, and Max Verstappen looks like he's got another championship that he's going to win again this year.
Well, then Max Verstappen sounds like he should be sending like a gift basket to Ferrari and be like, "Hey, next season I'll give you another one, no problem, on me."
Here it goes. Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. Get him a special extra gift basket, because holy cow, that was crazy. That race was just, it was in Ferrari's hands, and they threw it away. Max Verstappen has never started so low on the starting grid, 10th place to win it. Lewis Hamilton, tough year for Lewis. Started 6th place on this race, ended up 2nd place. George Russell 3rd, but crazy. Ferrari has just blown this year. They had probably the best car, and they just could not keep it together and win this championship. But enjoy your 1 month off, David, and have an awesome summer break. And yeah, we're gonna have you on. We're gonna have you on, right, Jason? We're gonna get him on. We're gonna do a really good 3-way conversation, and we're gonna talk about the second half of the season going in, and yeah, well, you'll have to bone up on your F1 knowledge, so we can have a great conversation with him.
Yes, absolutely. The first thing I'll say is like, Michael Schumacher. Wait, is he doesn't drive anymore? Okay, I guess
His
I'm
son
gonna
does.
Oh, his son. I didn't even know he had one. Oh, look at that. What's his name? Kyle?
Mick.
Trevor. Oh, Mick Schumacher. That's actually pretty awesome. What a great name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the only other thing that we should mention is the trade deadline in MLB is tomorrow afternoon. There have been a ton of trades already today. Yankees got better, Houston got better, Seattle got better this weekend. Toronto has yet to make a deal so far, but fingers crossed they get some help, and yeah, their American League rivals have all made deals this weekend. Toronto needs a little bit more to go on a run, but yeah, fingers crossed something happens. I'll put some details on the website if and when a trade happens, but yeah, keep your eye out. Trade deadline, there's been a flurry of activity, and the rich have got richer this week.
Well, that's good, because that's a great thing about baseball. It's like, we got no limit to how much we can play our players. It's awesome. Who wants more money? Especially, actually, now that I think about it, Juan Soto. You still with the Nationals?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because like obviously with the money they were offering was ridiculously low. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
It was just like, what a slap in the face.
Turned down 440 million so far. Supposedly they're sweetening the deal. I haven't heard what the number is yet, but supposedly they threw another offer on the table that was more money than that. There hasn't been an announcement that he signed, so he obviously turned that down too.
Genius. He you know what? He's doing it the right way. He's like, I know you got more money in there. I know you do. I'm gonna get every cent that I can.
I can't wait to sit in on the contract negotiations with you one day. It's gonna be awesome. You're looking at the head guys at ESPN, or one of the big networks that get professional sports, and you'll be like, no, I saw in that safe there's more money in there. You keep bringing it out. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be great to witness.
No. Of course it is, because that's them just taking out like shopping carts full of gold and money. That's it. This is like, is this enough? No, it's not. I got kids to feed. No, actually, I don't. But
Maybe by then you'll have kids.
yeah, that's true. Maybe by then. Maybe by then.
Yeah. I'll be your agent. Let's shake on it right now. I'll be your agent sitting there. We'll do the negotiations together. I can't wait. I'll bring in a hidden camera and we'll catch it. And then all of our viewers and listeners can see the awesome negotiation skills that we both have.
No, exactly. And also too, I'll probably be like, you're gonna have to sweeten the pot because I forgot he has to get paid too. So I'm gonna need a lot more money.
Imagine being in that position, eh? Imagine being in that position. Just back up the Brinks truck, a little closer, bring it up, a little more. Yeah, it must be awesome.
No, it's got to feel good. It's got to feel good. It's got to feel good to say like ridiculous things like Latrell Sprewell and just be like, I got kids to feed. It's like, how many?
I know, Jesus. Yeah, the money they're talking about these days is absolutely crazy and ridiculous. Okay, well, we've reached August. Yeah, you got probably what 3-4 weeks left in your yeah, you're back at it. So enjoy your last time. I'm glad rehab's going so well, and yeah, I'm glad you're getting close to 100%.
Yeah, man. So am I, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friend. I look forward to actually going back to work and getting back on a regular schedule again.
Yeah, I'll enjoy the game on Thursday, and yeah, I'm sure we'll text a little bit. Thanks again so much for letting me know about Bill Russell, and thank you for all the amazing things that you said about him on this podcast. This will be one that I cherish for a long time. I think it's one of the best podcasts we had. I'm glad we were able to talk about such an important and amazing man.
Yeah, like is like I said before, an NBA icon, a social justice icon, a man's man, a man that never backed down, a man that never considered himself less than anybody, and somebody that brought us all up. Yeah. Society is better off, is better, I should say, is better because he was here with us for the limited amount of time that we had
him. Yeah. Well said, man. Okay. Thanks so much. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk real soon. Thanks, Jason.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
All right. Night. Goodbye. Okay. Wow. That that couple hours flew by. That was great. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. Appreciate your support, your viewership, and your listenership. Do want to just quickly mention before we hang up, we've got some great sponsors. Anchor.fm, easiest place to make a podcast, phenomenal at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. Just go to Anchor.fm, follow the details, and you can do what Jason and I just took care of here. I want to mention Verbero, hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. V350 stick is a must-have. Pampas and Possibilities, phenomenal at West Coast vibes, sprucing up your house, making it look phenomenal. I highly recommend bringing their expertise into the mix and making your home look amazing. And last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Aloe vera is an amazing plant that just provides an incredible amount of great products, and you can purchase them on our website for discounted rates. Please go to completesportsmedia.com, and don't forget completemedianetwork.com for so much content that people love. So speaking of love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate the support as always, and look forward to talking to you really soon. Definitely a week from tonight, we'll be putting something out, and hopefully we'll get a few more through the summer here. We're trying to wrangle some great guests, and we will see some soon. Definitely looking forward to speaking with Jason's cousin, the Camerons, together on a podcast. That'll be a must see TV. So take care of yourself. Have a really great week ahead, and we will talk soon.